Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Violet Rain.
So hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Violet B. Rain. Today, I have someone, my guest today is from Denver, so I'm excited to have her. Dana has a presence of deep peace and harmony. She embraces the concept that we should all be compassionate and kind to those around us because we're all here to help each other grow and flourish. Dana hopes for a society that is more inclusive and empathetic to all, a community that embraces those who are unique rather than alienating them. She works to help people reach their higher consciousness and to create a kinder, more caring world. Dana is an intuitive Reiki master and energy healer. She uses the following healing modalities: Reiki, Shamanism, Aromatherapy, Seraphim Rose Pyramid System for soul realization and full embodiment, Seraphic Healing Energies, Angelic, Alchemy, Reiki, Ascension Energy Practitioner training, and sound healing to calm and soothe people who have experienced trauma and who are deeply healing on many levels. The healing energy that's produced allows those who are receiving to travel to various dimensional levels of consciousness. This assists in opening the energy channels, offering profound awakenings through the healing process. Stuck energies are clear, offering exponential results. Can you tell it's fall or it's coming fall? Because my voice is really fighting me this morning. So, and I think I say that every morning. So I'm sorry for those that listen a lot. My voice goes in and out. So, Dana, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you here.
I know. I'm excited to finally come on.
So, share with the audience what brought you to do what you do today. What was your journey that got you? Because so many people are awakening, kind of finding themselves. So I love to share those stories so that they can understand that they're not alone. Just share with us what brought you to do what you do today.
Okay. So it's funny because it just like progressively happened. And because like as a child, I realize now looking back that I was really intuitive and I didn't realize I was intuitive. I just always chalked it up to like street smarts or, just common sense smarts. But, looking back on it, I realized, oh, I was really intuitive because I could just read the energy of people and know like, oh, I need to stay away from them, or I need to be aware of, if they're not safe, or, because there's a few times where I really kept myself out of situations because I could just read like, oh, this is not safe, a safe situation. Because I grew up here in Denver, and I'm a native. And, back in the day, our parents would drop us off at the mall or at the amusement park or wherever all day and all night, and then would just pick us up when we were ready to be picked up. And we didn't have cell phones. So I had my like a little emergency quarter. And because like there was a time when we were at the mall and I told my friend, I'm like, that guy's following us. And she's like, no, he's not. And I'm like, yes, he is. And so to prove it to her, I'm like, okay, let's test it out. And so we had to like, I'm like, okay, let's go in this store and then let's go up this escalator. And then now let's go down real quick. And then sure enough, we'd see him going up the escalator as we were going down. And so we just kept trying to lose him until I could call use my emergency quarter and call my aunt from the payphone to come pick us up. And, so, and then there was other times where I babysat that situations happened that I was like, okay, this is not safe. I got to call and get help. So, and then I was in corporate world and married, divorced, and remarried. And then it was once I had my children and stopped working that then I really realized, like, I need to step into this. And I just naturally met people that would talk about things. And I was like, oh, that resonates with me, but I don't know why. I talk more. And then before I knew it, I just was led to different spiritual people. And, before I knew it, I got introduced to the metaphysical community here in Denver. And then I was like, oh, I think I need to start, being a healer myself. And so I asked the universe, what kind of healer should I be? And then my hands started vibrating. So I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be a Reiki healer.
I love that. I love that. For people out there that are curious and interested in becoming a healer or just to do their own self-healing, what are some of the things that you recommend for them to be able to find their way? Because there are so many different things, right? So
Right.
many different avenues of choice.
Mhm.
And you don't have to limit yourself, but how does a person know where to start and where to begin with that?
Well, we do luckily have like a great spiritual community. I mean, like your place. People find their ways there and, might get a reading and or, a healing. And I think that's where it kind of starts is receiving yourself, because that's what happened with me is I started receiving Reiki. And then I was like, wow, this is amazing, and then before I knew it, I'm like, I need to take a Reiki class. So I think, just kind of starting to experience it yourself, and then, kind of trusting your own guidance of, where should I go? Um, does it
Right.
make sense? Does that make
Yeah, it
sense?
makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. What I always say is when you ask the universe, like you did, I think I need to be a healer. What should I think about or where should I go? And then meeting people along the way, right? Spirit has this tendency to put people in our path, or you'll be
Exactly.
out somewhere and somebody goes, "Oh yeah, I'm a Reiki healer or a shamanic healer or a healing touch healer or there are all these different things." And then you're like, I'm curious. And you perk up and you're like, I'm interested to know more. I think spirit guides us. And
Exactly.
what I think is pretty awesome in today's world, back years ago, probably 20, 30 years ago, a person was either just a healer or a psychic reader or whatever, and that's all they did. And today we have this whole list of services that we do, which can be overwhelming for the client sometimes of, well, which one and where should I go and how do I pick the right one, right? But we get into, I feel like we're so guided if we're open to being guided of what that is and where that comes from. And so,
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened with me is just, before I knew it, like, I was talking to a friend and she, like I said, she was talking about, because I have always felt like alienated, pretty much my whole life. Felt like very alienated, and kind of ran into bully type, situations. And so she started talking about something and then gifted me a Louise Hay book. And I've never, heard of Louise Hay. So then I read it. And then before I knew it, a cousin of ours that like I haven't really, a cousin by marriage, I haven't really talked to, like we would see each other and be like, hey, hi, And then like just at one event, all of a sudden we were like, I think we're supposed to talk to each other this time. And then so we started talking and she's like, I'm starting to do this energy code stuff and I think you would be a good person to practice on. And then from there I got, exactly like you said, it just naturally happens where, then from her I met other people and then, then before I knew it, I was surrounded by all these, energy type people. So
It does work that way. We're kind of guided along a path. So one of the things that you wanted to talk about today, which I love that topic, is angels. So how, because what I have found lately, because I have an Archangel series class that I've started this summer, and people are afraid of angels. People believe that they're not supposed to connect with them. There's all these limiting beliefs and fears around angels. So talk with us and our audience about angels and their real purpose here, because I think they're here for us.
Oh, for sure. They're totally here for us and they really want to help us and they just want to be of assistance. They really want to help us and just connect with us. And I think the more we ask for their help, the more they show up for us. And yeah, and I do know what you mean. I have found that too, which is surprising because angels are like, no matter what type of religions there are out there, they all, at least all the, I know they don't agree on everything, the different religions, but that's the one thing they all do agree on is that there is angels. And so, it is interesting to me that people are afraid of angels because they are really
That's
here
because
for
you
us.
and I work with them all the time. We don't
I
think
know, yeah,
anything about
yeah.
it. Right? So what are some things that you have done with angels or asked angels for help? Share a couple stories with us on how angels have supported you.
I ask them for like even silly little things. Like I'll ask them like, please help me find a parking space, up close. Or I always call in the angels before I get on the highway. Um, because I-25 is kind of scary anymore. I always call them in before I get on the highway, please make sure I'm safe and protected and my ride is with ease and grace. So even little things like that, I call them in for, and and I even ask them to, let me see the cops before they see me. Not that I'm a big speeder, but
I love that. We learned something about Dana today. I think that's great. Sometimes I'll ask for an angel team to help with something. Let's say I have a problem or a challenge and the solutions aren't coming really easy and I don't know how to work through it. So I'll say a prayer requesting an angel team to help me with a relationship that may have some conflicts in it, or
Mhm.
help me figure out how to solve this challenge or what I should do next. And I always get a beautiful, perfect team to kind of come in and help me navigate those energies and really kind of move through what's going on. So, angels are beautiful to kind of help us work through. And I know that you've had experiences with the seraphim. So,
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit. What are the seraphim angels for those that have never worked with them or know who they are?
They're the highest order of angels, and before they really haven't connected with the humans. But now that like there are so many more of us awake, it has awakened those energies, and so now they are coming here to help assist humans. But yeah, they're the highest order of angels, so that's why, and that might be like where someone's like, oh, we're not supposed to connect with them. Like they don't have time for, they don't have time for us, but they are now starting to connect with us and help us because we have, because there are more awakened people, it's awakened the energies and the energy's gotten stronger as we were talking about right before the call.
Right?
So, yeah.
Right. So the planet is shifting and changing, and that energy is changing. So the
exactly.
Seraphim are coming in to help us. And I
Right.
know Liz Ann Fisher here in Denver offers several different classes with the Seraphim. Share with us what your experience has been working with that modality, because it is different than a Reiki class or some of the other modalities. What differences do you see between Reiki and the Seraphim, the different types of healing?
It is definitely way more power. I mean, it's definitely way more powerful. And it's a modality to use because you just make the call to them and they do the work. So instead of you having to be the channel, once you're attuned to them, then yes, you can call them in and they do the work for you. Versus, you channeling the energy.
I love that. I love that. And I know you and Cindy Stewart partnered recently and
Yes.
created a course called, was it Angelic Alchemy Reiki? Share with
Um,
us what that is.
It's called Angelic. I wrote it down because we changed the title after doing our pilot class. We received some feedback that like you really need to incorporate the sound piece. So it's called Angelic Alchemy Reiki and Sound Healing Practitioner Training.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
So, what is that program all about? So, if somebody was interested in that, what are some of the things they're going to learn?
it's connecting with the angels and ascended masters, and also incorporating sound into that because sound vibrations is a way to open up or work with that energy even more because, the sound vibration is attuned with the angels and ascended masters. So,
I love that. I love that.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
great way. I teach sound too, but I teach sound separately because
Uh-huh.
there's so much information with sound.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
There's just tons. And so now I have 4 full days of nothing but sound healing. That's all we're doing is learning sound. And that was an intro this year in the spring that I taught, and it was an amazing class. So
Oh,
we'll
great.
offer it again next year. But
Yeah,
sound frequency helps us start to move energy in our body that may get stuck. And
exactly.
that vibration easily starts loosening what I feel like we have very tight energy when we bring stuff in. And to get that to start loosening up where we can release it, sounds a great way to kind of do that and get that softened so that we can do that. You also talked about, Dana, about our bodies are changing, the vibrations are changing. What
Hmm.
does that really mean that we are physically changing?
Um, It's funny because I noticed like we're all starting to experience like different health issues and stuff and it's funny because like you might get clients who are all coming in with the same thing and you realize like oh this is interesting we're and or I'll talk to other healers and they're all kind of going through the same thing and I just feel like our DNA is changing a little bit as the vibrations is changing and as Gaia's changing, Gaia's shifting as well. And that's the reason the seraphim are coming in is to help, assist her with her changes as well as humanity because we're hand in hand, right? Because we're all
Right,
one.
right. We're evolving and
Right,
energetically that energy's changing, right?
right, right.
And
And
so I
so
think
I've noticed that like our sensitivities are changing. Because before I know when I first started stepping into this energy, people are like, oh, you can't eat this or you can't eat that, or you need to eat this diet only if you're gonna be, you know, able to ascend and I'm like whatever but we might and so I guess that's where we use discernment, right? It's like, well, just because someone else says that and that works for someone else doesn't mean it's necessarily for you, but your body might change and it'll let you know if you are supposed to let things fall away
it
because
is.
you will maybe develop food sensitivities and
you may get to a point where you can't have caffeine anymore. Like
Exactly.
a soda or coffee bothers you. And other people, it doesn't bother them yet because we are different in how we're created. So our body is different in what it accepts. But as you move along this path, what I've noticed is things change. Like things that I liked before, I want something else now. And so what you crave changes and what your body is asking for changes. So it's really powerful. It's about being in tune physically to what does your body want. You can
Right.
even ask your body what it wants and really listen. What do I want to have today? What is important for me to have to nurture my body today? And your body will tell you definitely what works and what doesn't work, right?
Right, right. And that's starting to be more in tune with our body and listening to our body because our body does give us information. So yeah. And there's nothing available other than, something that, you do have a sensitivity to, I do like bless my food too. So that I receive what serves my highest and best and let the rest fall away.
See, I love that. I do that too. So if I love cheeseburgers and they're probably not the best for our body.
Yeah.
Okay, cheeseburger, I want to eat you, but everything that is not good for me, let it pass through very
Right,
gently and gracefully and let my body absorb the highest and best good from this meal. And you can definitely do that, right? So
right.
share with us what you do. If somebody wanted to work with you after listening to this podcast, what are some of the things that you offer, not only here in Denver, but maybe online or remotely?
Yes, you already mentioned the class I'm doing with Cindy Stewart. We are doing both Zoom versions of that class as well as in-person classes. I teach Reiki, so I do that in person or on Zoom. I teach the Seraphic Love and Faith class as well as the Light Essence of the Rocky Mountains. And I also teach Lizanne's class, which you mentioned, which is the New Energy, New Earth, and it's the Seraphim Rose Pyramid System. And it's a transformational cosmic meditation system for soul realization and full embodiment. So it's something you can use to do self-healing on through meditation. Or a lot of us healers also use it for healing, healing others as a healing modality.
I love that. I love
Yes,
that.
yes,
We
yes.
will we will have Dana's website at the bottom. Anything else that you offer?
I do full moon ceremonies, incorporating sound bowls for healing. Like you said, that helps. Not the full moon is good for clearing, cleansing and clearing. And then the sound bowls on top of that, because like you said, the sound frequencies help to release any stuck energies in your body. So yes,
Yeah, those are
yeah,
all good for us. Well,
yeah.
Dana, thank you so much for being on the show today. I
No,
really
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank
I
you.
really do. And thank you for listening and checking out this podcast. I hope you'll like, follow, and comment on your favorite channels, and that we'll see you again in the near future. I hope you have a sacred and magical week. And thanks so much for taking the time to listen today.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Violet, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. You can also send a personal message to Violet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. If you love the show, subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.